say, good morning. And everybody says good morning. And it's blank after that.
I know I'm going to talk to as many people from the church as I can during this quarantine. So here we are.
Did you see that thing Bill Murk did? Yeah, except for Vince Katrina, it was great. Hey.
Who's joining? He's got a puzzle piece.
Okay.
Puzzle piece versus Bill.
Yeah.
Ethan does the same thing.
Let's be honest. It's only mediocre to see you even through quarantine. So.
Wow, this is like my road. Okay. 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 We've got a debut right here. Or maybe not.
Okay.
I have no idea.
Wait a minute. Uh-oh. I'll get it.
At first, I would call him Bernie, because right before the quarantine, he needed a haircut badly, and his hair was kind of flowing in the wind, and it reminded me of Bernie Sanders. So he did get it cut. Thankfully, he got to the barber before we had the quarantine. So then after that, he's started his facial hair growth. So I looked at it and I said, Joe, you're starting to look like Colonel Sanders, Bernie's great uncle. So I said, now I can call you Colonel Bernie. So
Yeah, that's when I tend to get a little.
The last Super Bowl the Vikings had?
They're still seeking their first one.
Yeah. And we enjoyed having the Super Bowl at the Vikings. How did you become a Vikings fan? Let's go. Let's stop arguing. How did you become a Vikings fan?
So years ago, I actually was, very okay with the fact that the Vikings had, lost a couple of Super Bowls or what have you. But one day, one of my friends asked me who my favorite team was, and I didn't want to go with, Cowboys or other folks who had recently won a Super Bowl. So just picked Vikings kind of out of the air. One of the managers at work will say it was an atmospheric extraction. So picked them out of the air and have just been a Vikings fan ever since. I will note that I have never been to the state of Minnesota.
Well, here we go. You got to say this in Mandarin and make sure we all got it. So, okay, get your dirty hands off my rice.
把你的脏手从我的米饭上拿开。
Okay, yeah, that makes total sense. I mean, I think we could all use that one every day. How about put on your face mask?
戴上你的口罩。
Okay. We'll go, always work in threes, right? So let's go with I really don't miss school. I miss my friends.
我一点儿也不想念学校，我想念我的朋友。
Okay, I like it. Good job. Good job. Thank you, sir. I appreciate
Everything else was great.
it. So how about all the fundraisers? Do you guys have a favorite fundraiser that you guys do for the missions team? Or you,
Hate the fundraisers. So no.
I
Love the mission trip. Hate the fundraisers. It's a lot of work.
yes.
A lot of work. And believe me, we don't do even a minuscule amount of the work that the leaders of the mission team do.
Oh no!
Yeah, I have. When I was in college, I was tired of being stuck in the dorm, and I would do different things to not be inside. So yeah, there were a couple times where I would sleep in the top of a really big tree on campus in my hammock, and yeah, it was awesome. Being like, 60 plus feet above everybody on a nice warm spring night. It's pretty relaxing. Kind of rocks you to sleep all by yourself.
Yeah, that doesn't sound frightening at all. And you got angry when I wasn't your coach because you I think missed a goal or something. Did you punch the wrist? Is this true?
It was actually the only way, the first time I actually broke a bone. Yes.
You punched something?
I was playing goalie. Actually, I was on my dad's team.
Okay.
My dad got hurt. He liked to play goalie, and so no one else wanted to play goalie, so I had to play, and I was not very good at it. And
I remember that. Oh, no, sorry. Go ahead.
yes. No, it's not hard to remember.
Wow.
And yes, was frustrated, but honestly, I thought it wasn't out of it was more frustration. I went to get up and I banged my fist against the floor. And as soon as I did, I was like, oh no, something's wrong. And yeah, just broke the bone, whatever they call it, a boxer's fracture, broke the bone.
My sister was 5, tree in the backyard with a hole in it. And my older, wiser sister said, Mark, stick your head in there. And I can still see the beady eyes and the beak. I can still feel it. She took off to the house. I can still feel claws, beak, wings. I can still feel them. And yeah, it's a long history of hatred and fear of birds. Yeah, I remember Ash and Cupid. Remember, they never came out of the cage when I was there.
No, but I mean, there's also finches.
Yeah, the smaller the bird, the greater the fear. It's that's my fear. To love the flapping wings, the way they move.
You guys always hosted a church yard sale. Did anybody ever try to offer to get your personal belongings? Did anybody ever try to buy anything?
Oh yeah, all the time.
Yes.
All the time. Bruce always has ladders on the side of the house, and everybody always wants to buy a ladder or the furniture that's on our porch.
Right.
Always.
Yeah. Oh yeah, we have people sneaking under the tarps before we even open. We have people trying to get across the barriers and the barricades. If it's not nailed down, they want to buy it. So
I found people in my powder room.
You have a passion for cinnamon. No. I know you do not like cinnamon. What are other things you don't like? What other things with your desserts or whatever?
So the first thing that comes to mind, I don't like cinnamon at all. I'm actually allergic to cinnamon. So
You told me you weren't allergic at a coffee house, that you just don't like it. You just tell people you're allergic. That way they won't give you stuff with cinnamon.
Oh!
Yeah, I threw it out there. I don't care.
So yes, that's true. So people will not offer it to me. And the two biggest things that I can say I hate them, and there's no getting around it. Is tomatoes and applesauce. I actually have a really, it's going to sound crazy, and I don't believe I'm doing this on this, but I'm actually afraid of applesauce.
The first time or second time?
The first time Marshall and I met, we were freshmen at Baptist High.
Okay.
And Marshall came from Delran High School, and I had grown up going to Christian school. So Marshall came. So if any of you have ever gone to a small Christian school, you know that when a new person comes, especially a cute guy comes, everybody notices, right? So
I think that's me.
Marshall and I were like friends, but like not necessarily in the same friend group. But I did call him Marshall Souffle was my name for him. And so
First time I heard that one.
after about maybe I say it was just a couple of months. He says he spent a whole semester there. Whatever. He opted to go back to Delran High School, and we didn't see each other again until we were both 21. And I was going to a singles group at Fellowship Alliance on Sunday nights, and one night he showed up. And after we were like, hey, I remember you, Marshall Souffle, and he remembered each other from Baptist High. Marshall said, can I have your number so that I could call you to see if there's ever any activities going on?
Activities.
And so he took my number, and that was honestly, a year later, we were getting married.
So did you leave Baptist High because you were being teased because of Carl Souffle, or like, you know what? I got to get away from here.
Yes. The bully here that I ended up marrying.
It's called 9 questions.
Okay.
I'm going to ask you 9 rapid fire questions.
All right.
First thing that comes off top of your head, you got to go with it. Fair enough?
Yeah, go ahead, shoot.
Okay, number 1. Do you hate having to wear a tie on Sunday?
Yes.
What's your favorite hymn?
Old Rugged Cross.
What's the best cheesesteak?
Joe's Place over in Carsdale Avenue in Philly.
Okay. What song best describes your life?
Oh, that's tough. Uptown Girl.
I want to follow up, so I want to so bad. Who wins in a fight, you or Vince?
I start out strong, but his tenacity and I think he takes it in the end.
Okay. What's your best sport to play?
Hockey.
What do you enjoy officiating more, a funeral or a wedding?
Weddings are more fun, so I'll go with that. I just get more nervous when I do them.
Okay. If you could kill one fashion trend, what would it be?
I can't stand the guys who wear their pants down below their waist, hanging down. That should be outlawed.
So you don't like me very much? No. You know what? Last question, number 9. Can you grow facial hair?
I don't know if you can tell, but I'm trying very hard. I got about 5 days in, and this is this is as much as I got.
Okay. I shaved this morning.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
you've already got more than me.
Yeah, that's a bad thing.
So the answer to that is probably a definitive no.
No, you did well. You did well. Well, good job. You survived. Well, let's hear the story.
Well, it all started with basically someone throwing ice, I think, because we had an ice machine in there at the time. And then people started looking around, and there was no teachers in the room. And that just, light bulbs went on people's heads, and next thing you know, tables were getting flipped on its side, and food was flying everywhere, and the lights went out, and it was a big ordeal. And somebody actually from my class actually went and turned the circuit breakers off to the lunchroom, and what they didn't realize when they turned off the circuit breakers to the lunchroom, it actually turned off the computers in the church office. So.
Where do you come up with these things?
I don't know.
For a whole day?
All day.
People toothbrush all the time.
Oh,
No?
I'd have to bleach
I use
it.
yours all the time.
You do?
Yeah.
All of our clothes? No.
No, toothbrush.
Oh. Let's go personal. So you are planning on getting married in May.
Correct.
What exactly is going on with that? Is that it affected it in any way, shape, or form?
So that is a question I've gotten literally dozens of times this past week because
I do such a good job as an interviewer. I figure I change it up.
No, it's fine. So yes, Linnea and I were are engaged and set to get married on May 2nd at the church.
I also just want to say May 2nd is also my birthday.
Oh, see, perfect timing.
So
we may have planned that.
God.
But obviously, with COVID, there's a lot of venues are canceling on people. Fortunately, ours didn't because most of the guidelines are going through the end of April. But everything is just showing that unfortunately, this will probably continue for the foreseeable future. And we had a lot of guests traveling from out of state, so we had to make the difficult decision to postpone it. So
my birthday.
Exactly, away from your birthday.
My party.
Exactly. So, so it's unfortunate because, you have months and months of planning going to one day, but we are going to reschedule it to probably the summer and fall. But, that's a headache in itself, but obviously there's a reason for everything. And we're just keeping that in mind that, the purpose of getting married obviously is the marriage aspect. So
a lot of people have given you chocolate over the years, and then you had so much you decided to throw some away.
Oh man, who did you talk to?
And so tell us about your time where you ate chocolate out of a trash can.
Okay, so I'm assuming you've been talking to my husband. Thank you, Alex. I have to say that one time I threw out a box of Whitman chocolate because I had eaten so much, and then I really needed a piece of chocolate and didn't have any. So I went into the trash can to get it out because, it was nice in a little box. And that's when Alex walked in and I said, "You still love me, right?" And he said, "Yeah, and I will still marry you despite what I just saw."
Oh no!
About Nancy, did you get a little person in the face with a purse while out in Lancaster?
Yeah, she did. She did hit a little person. Coming out of church, no less.
Yeah, there has to be more to this story.
Yes, it was embarrassing.
It wasn't intentional, was it?
It was an accident.
No.
It was an accident.
Oh, okay. I was just making sure.
But we wrote it for all it was worth.
I was trying to help him. Actually, I was trying to keep the door open for him, and it just. Anyway.
Yeah.
Who told you that?
I have really good resources. I have a really good resource department. So.
Oh, that's
All
funny.
right, I'm ready.
Oh no!
Or the lady that hit that little person in the face with a purse.
Yeah.
One of those three.
That poor little. His name was Leroy, I think. He's a midget, but
He's a little person.
he's.
And then I'm a hairy guy. I don't like hair. So to this day, I don't wax, but I do shave. Obviously, you can tell.
You going hamburger, you going hot dog?
Usually when I go to a barbecue, I pick one of each or several of each, but I can't do that in the Would You Rather game.
No, you got to go with one.
So I would, provided that the burger has cheese and some condiments on it, I would choose burger.
Burger. Now, if you're at the ballpark, you going dollar dog?
If I'm at the ballpark, I go any dog over any burger.
Were you afraid that he was going to hit you?
Oh, I was sure he was going to hit me. And he knew how to fight. I'm not a boxer. I'm a wrestler. This kid, the coach told me 7 years later that he was in gangs and all that kind of stuff. He was surprised that they didn't come get me from up there in Willingboro.
Wow, that's good. So are you afraid of anything? Yeah.
I'm afraid of unleashed dogs that are running around if they're big. I can kick a little dog if they're going to bite me.
Oh no!
Worry about a hotel fire. Can you give me a little bit about that? Is that true?
There was back then, if you could take French or Spanish, and I took French. Most of my friends took French, and back then the teacher was Mrs. Dubois, the Dubois Funeral Home couple. and we would go on a trip. They'd take you to Quebec, Canada for a week, which is why we all chose to go to French, because I think the Spanish class went to like a Mexican restaurant. That was the highlight of their year. We got to go to Canada, so we did that. We went to Canada, and we were all I don't know, 16, just dumb kids. And one of the guys in my room got the great idea to, hey, let's see if we can get a little fire going in the sink in the hotel room. And I said, that sounds like a great idea. So I joined them, and we all got going, burned the sink, set up smoke alarms in the hotel. Fire department came. It was a problem, obviously. That was a long bus ride back to Haddon Heights the next day. I think it was the night before we left. The school, I guess, gave us an in-school suspension. For the next day, we had to clean all the bathrooms.
Anyway, let's go to, so what you're saying on the grill, the pork chops and stuff like that. So let's go with Melissa. How about opening up a cooler? Do you have a story about opening up a cooler with Joe and
See, I watched some of your other videos of people, and I was nervous because I was like, he's doing research, and there is a little bit too many embarrassing videos of me on the internet, and they all happen to be taken by this guy.
It's true. It's true.
Even before we were dating, he loved to find my embarrassing moments. Yeah, we were at the beach. This was before we were dating, we were just friends, and we were with another friend. And the cooler lock was on, I guess.
It's one of the ones where, so there's a latch on top.
I still can't explain it to you.
And it's the handle of the cooler is the latch. So when it's down one way, the hooks lock onto the top. And when you flip the handle back, it unlocks.
I had guess never opened a cooler like that before. And him and my friend just decided to laugh at me the entire time as I tried to open it.
Well, yeah, I think you went back and forth a few times trying to open it, but kept relocking it. And
all of my embarrassing moments are on the internet, apparently.
It's true.
There's many others. I had a problem with the whipped cream bottle when I was like 13.
I've had a lot of cool pets in my life. I've had all kinds of different animals. You guys had ferrets.
Two at different times.
How was that?
We liked them.
Well, that was Jody Hatzikorzian's fault.
Okay.
She had a friend that she knew who was going off to college, and he had a ferret, and he couldn't take his ferret to college. So she was looking for somebody. This is when we were both teaching at Bethel. She was looking for somebody who would take a ferret, and we said, well, we only have a cat. We might as well take a ferret too. So
yeah, we like the ferrets. They're kind of like they're always kittens. They don't get to be like a cat. They just stay kittens. And I had to give them a bath because even though they were deodorized or destinkered or whatever they do to eliminate that smell, they do still get to come out smelling a little bit like a zoo in July. So I used to put them in the bathtub, and I'd wash them down and soak them up with Avon Skin So Soft. And they smelled really good. But neither one of them lived a long time. And we don't know if that had to do with the Avon Skin So Soft or just they have a short life expectancy.
Yeah, I'll tell you a joke.
Go ahead.
So,
what is it? Do you need me to write your material for you?
no, I'll write yours. It's okay. How many cameras do you eat today? Oh my gosh, I
You screwed up the joke. It's Dad. There's what did you do?
I can't do it.
It's hey Dad. So it's you know that the camera adds 10 pounds. How many cameras did you eat? 10?
He says no, that's not appropriate.
Come on. You know what I'm saying?
A little bit. So, do you have a story about losing a contact lens?
I do. I do have a story about losing contact lens. So I do colonoscopies, and I was usually colonoscopies are pretty clean procedures just because the person is cleaned out. And I was doing one, and it wasn't that clean of a procedure. And a lot of liquid was coming out of the patient onto the table. And sometimes when I'm doing those, it's kind of like if you're ever playing a video game or you're like engrossed in a movie and you forget to blink, you're just kind of staring at something. And I could sense that my contact was getting dried out. And I knew I wasn't gonna be able to save it. And of course I can't use my hands because they're occupied. And so I tried to blink it out of my eye onto my shoulder. And sure enough, it blinked onto my shoulder, rolled down my arm, and landed right into this puddle of brown liquid, we'll call it. Yes. And the problem was this was like on a Monday morning at like 8 o'clock. I had a full day at clinic after that, the same location. I didn't have a spare pair of glasses or a spare pair of contacts. I can't see well enough without contacts. I really had no choice. And the hospital's 40 miles from my house. So like I have really no choice in this situation. So I think through my options, and really the only option I have is to put the contact back in my eye.
Oh no!
Who would win in a fight, you or Greg?
Come on. He's got a longer reach.
Okay, that doesn't mean.
But I bite, so,
What don't we know about you?
Well, that I spent 16 months being trained by the CIA and all sorts of intelligence and tactical reconnaissance, and but or maybe I didn't.
Yeah, that's when I tend to get a little.
No, that was too harsh. Okay, yours is deep. Some of these are like, would you eat your nail clippings or whatever? But if you could travel back, A, travel in time and meet your great-great-grandparents, or B, travel in time and meet your great-great-grandchildren, what would you do?
Oh my, isn't that interesting?
Yeah, you got a tough one.
Yeah. So look, anything we do, we need to do for the Lord, right?
Right.
So would it be more effective to witness to my great-great-great-grandparents or my great-great, you know what I would say? This may or may not be true or not, but the rate at which the world seems to be spinning away from, from God's will in general, I think it probably, maybe it's more effective for me to witness to my great-great-great-grandchildren.
Okay.
Say, I'm great-great-great-grandpa from the past. You got to listen to me. Listen to me. Anyway, I'll go with the great-great-great-grandchildren. That'd be amazing to see too. Can you imagine that? Oh my gosh.
So weird.
I can tell you one of the things, and I guess it really is one of the ways that something that we've done differently since
Right.
we've been in the corona. Are you
Right.
thinking the same thing?
Probably.
It's just, and at Dylan's suggestion,
Yes.
he asked if we could read 8 chapters of the New Testament together each night as a family, because you could get through it in 30 days.
Right.
It's our theme at our school this year is fixing your eyes on Jesus, having 20/20 focus. And if we're staying focused on him, all the peripheral things around us, all our circumstances aren't as important if we're focused on him. And when I get afraid or concerned, which there's a lot of things in the future, we don't know what's going to happen. I realize he's in control of it, and I don't see the whole thing. I don't see the whole parade.
Where in your life you will have many troubles, but take heart, I have overcome the world.
Oh, I love it. That's great. And you have anything, George, or you like that one too?
Yes, in Proverbs, and I forget the reference, but it all boils down to is we need to lean on the Lord. We cannot do it on our own strength, and we're going through a time that we've never experienced before, and God will provide.
With situations and Bible studies that we've done ourselves and devotions, we kind of felt like something that challenged us was to kind of be the encouraging factor rather than focusing on who was encouraging us,
Yeah.
which we have a lot of people encouraging
Yeah.
us, but it was that idea of it's easy to get focused on who's doing what for you rather than what you're doing for other people.
Yeah.
Family, our church, and you know, you feel it when there's conflict. And so, you know, I think when the Apostle Paul says, as much as lieth within you, be at peace with all men, when he says, pursue peace and the building up of one another. I think that as a pastor, and I don't say there's any false sense of like spirituality, like the most wonderful thing the church can do for a pastor isn't really for the pastor, it's caring for each other and building each other up, being patient with each other, being overlooking an offense of another person, that kind of thing.
There's honestly so many people there. It's, as far as in this world, obviously the Lord is always number one, and Paul, as far as book of the Bible, you know, people of the Bible, he is someone that is strong in faith that inspires me. And Dave's mom.
Mine is Floss Mitchell, which was Pastor Mitchell's. I grew up at Immanuel, and Pastor Mitchell and Floss were the pastor and pastor's wife.
My parents, for one.
Mine is my history teacher, Alan McLaughlin.
Mrs. Wolf was probably the biggest influence on my life spiritually growing up. And I mean, it sounds corny, but Pastor Vince, you know, he's my friend and he is my pastor.
If I had to say someone who inspired me with prayer, it would be Franny Thompson. Sir Vince inspires me with the words that he shares each week that are from his heart.
Can I take two?
Absolutely.
Probably my mom and my grandma.
I'm going with Rex Feltman.
If I had to choose one, I know Mark Johnson's already chose my dad, but I'm going to go ahead and steal it anyway. My dad.
Okay, I would have to say Pastor Vince.
For me, it would be definitely my mom.
I would say in the most recent couple of years of our marriage and being at Immanuel, we've been at Immanuel since we got engaged, it would be Teresa and Marshall Supply.
I would say for me, my dad and my parents in general.
Would mention Franny Thompson. She is just the sweetest person. I mean, everything that she says and does just radiates the Lord.
The fellow who led that Bible study kind of became a mentor to me over the years. His name was Mike White.
Mrs. and Mr. Splee definitely answer many of my questions.
That's awesome.
And sometimes I talk to Mr. Mike in school also.
Inspires me. I would say Pastor Vince, definitely.
Our Baptist Student Union director was Billy Joe King.
I'm going to have to do it. So Pastor Vince, he really does inspire me.
But I'm going to say probably Dick Escher.
A prior pastor named Tom Larmore.
For me, it's probably my grandfather on my mom's dad.
Use a stereotypical example, which I'm sure most people have said. It would be Pastor Vince.
My parents, for one.
Well, I've got to believe Pastor Mitchell influenced me most dramatically as far as, you know, just he was a tremendous preacher and impacted my life, and I heard more sermons by him than any other. As far as nationally, I think people may know it was Chuck Swindoll from college days, just being gathered around listening to the way that he tied the truth of Scripture into real life as well.
Okay.
And then maybe you, Bill. Then maybe you.
That's what I figured. I just figured
I really appreciate Pastor Vince and all our pastors, Pastor Greg.
Well, I mean, I was raised in a Christian home, so I would have to say my mom.
What I think is wonderful for me is that, sure, I can say, Billy Graham. I can say, David Jeremiah, Charles Stanley. Absolutely. Thank you, sir. I can say all these great guys, but I don't even have to leave Maple Shade, where like a guy like Gary Horvath, who's a friend of mine, who just like when I consider Gary, the dedication he has to his wife, Kathy, when I look at him and when I look at his children, how godly his children are, when I look at Marshall Suplee and I consider Marshall and Teresa, and I look at their kids and how godly they are, I consider them people of faith that I could look up to. And they're right. They go to my church.
Well, we love you guys. We pray for the family of Immanuel. I love the Facebook connections and seeing people on Wednesday night, Sunday night, the little heart that we have of the choir and how we just seek to praise the Lord. And we want to continue to do that. We love Immanuel Baptist Church, love Pastor Vince, Pastor Greg, and we're just looking forward to worshiping together soon.
I never thought like I would miss being at church so much because, I mean, now that I think about it, church is literally half my life. It's school and church, and that's what I do. And so when I don't go to church on Sundays and youth group on Sunday nights and all sorts of different activities, trips, everything, it feels like part of my life is just missing.
The thing I'd like to just say to our church family is just we miss everyone too. I'm sure we all miss seeing each other and interacting with each other. It's been very strange over these last couple of weeks, just with all the changes that have happened so fast.
We miss we miss everyone.
That's the truth.
Yeah. Like I know for me, getting close to having the baby, I'm thinking, oh no, like I'll have to be home with the baby for a while. I won't be able to go to church before then. Won't be able to go to church after. So I'm really missing that. Missing singing part of worship team.
I would say just corporate worship in general, like
Yeah.
just the fellowship of everyone around you singing and listening to Pastor Vince, of course, too, but like just the corporate worship of singing with other believers in more than just 2 or 3, like over 100 singing there in church is always a blessing.
Well, Immanuel, looking forward to the time that we can get back together corporately, as Vince would say, in the sanctuary and Immanuel. I know from the various Facebook things or sermons that Vince posts, as well as chatting with him when I'm down to record something, he does miss, seeing the faces of the congregation or, chatting with folks sort of live. So just want to encourage many of you who are feeling the, I guess, sort of the pangs of the social distancing. Just know that Immanuel loves you. Pastor Vince, Pastor Greg, the deacons love you, care about you, and are, trying to maintain that our congregational relationship, that feeling of family, as well as being available to do things to assist those in need during this time.
Well, we miss everybody. Just miss you guys so much. And can't wait until we can see everybody again. It's great to be able to communicate with people through the internet. And I'm thankful for it.
I'm looking for the day where we can get together and worship together. And I just anticipate that first service, the energy. I'm really looking forward to it.
We missed you, and we hope that we can gather together soon as one big family of God. And from all the pictures I'm seeing, a souped-up church building, hopefully with a working elevator and stuff by that time, and be able to gather again and praise God as one big body together.
No, I guess a little inspiration. We'll get through this. I think we hopefully this time draws us all closer to God. It's nice having community. important to have a community, a Christian community, but I think it's important that we use this time to grow our personal walks. We're separated from our community physically. Yeah, and if you need any help with math, let me know.
Immanuel is a special place. I think part of the uniqueness of it is the fact that Pastor Vince is there and he lived all around it.
Yes, that was so cool.
He started off across the street at OLPH, and it's just a unique situation, and you can just see how God has used him, and now to have Pastor Greg on, they are a dynamic duo.
We are very blessed to have the pastors that we have that are taking so much time to make sure that we're getting the ministry that we need, and that there's just been so many hands going into making sure that we can still watch sermons and be involved. And but look at the silver lining on, prayer nights. On Wednesday night prayer night, the Facebook Live gets 3 times the amount of views that it does when it's held at church. So just to pray for positivity and try to find the silver lining, even though we're separated.
Yeah,
Vince, you have to contribute.
I would with that, I would say, in a positive sense, just so that everybody knows how much we get to hear about it and see it, how much effort is being put into the church. And sometimes I know people know how great our pastors are, but it's pretty cool to see how many different people are really putting in an effort of different things.
No, I just like to tell everybody there. I mean, it seems like as a church, we're not physically with each other, but we are still a church body. So I'd encourage people to look for Vince's messages, participate in the Sunday Bible studies, and still just to know they can reach out to us as individual deacons, the board as a whole, to their pastors. We are there. Yes, we're not physically together, but the church is going to continue, and we cannot wait until we're back and see each other in person.
Oh, that I love you guys so much, and that I miss you.
Immanuel, may you be blessed. You have blessed me, the pastors, certainly my friends there that I've mentioned.
We miss everybody. We actually went up this morning and saw the elevator, which the guys are doing a great job. So I'm anxious to get back and see who gets that first ride.
I know, I miss everybody. I can't wait until I can get hugs again and just be able to come up and especially sit in the ladies' Sunday school and just see our greeters, and then just come through and be able to walk back up through the service whenever everything's starting, and then stay the extra 25-30 minutes after church. So I just miss all that, and just miss seeing everybody. Yeah, I definitely got to say the same thing. I'm looking forward to going back to church to see everybody. Hopefully, once this is all cleared up, we can maybe have a cornhole tournament, a barbecue outside of there, and just have a good old time, just enjoying each other's fellowship together with some good food and some good fun, and just hanging out and just being able to catch up with everybody again,
But I miss you guys a lot, and I guess I love all yous, and I want everybody to stay safe, and I look forward to the day where we can all gather together in a big giant party in the sanctuary and hear Pastor Vince sing and clap and dance on the platform and hear the word. It's going to be pretty amazing.
Yeah, I would say the same thing. We love you, everybody. We really miss Sunday. And boy, when I think about the first Sunday that we meet again at church, just makes my hair stand up with joy. Like, I think that's going to be like a fabulous, fabulous day.
Everybody stay safe. Keep watching the videos and past events, and just keep your faith up. And we'll all get back together real soon. I don't know if anybody saw on Facebook the progress being made at the church with the new overhang and the entranceway being built by Rich and Randy. So things are progressing there. So it would be amazing if when we all got back that the elevator was up and running. I don't know, because they still have to inspect it, so that might not happen through the state. But I mean, things are still happening, behind the scenes. So just, again, keep talking to each other through the internet or through, FaceTime or whatever, and just, stick together. We'll get through this together. We're a strong church.
Yeah. I miss seeing everybody and being in fellowship with everybody, and it's great. The services online are great, but it's not like being right
Oh,
there.
absolutely, yeah, that's true.
Yeah, I mean, we just can't say enough about our church family,
Absolutely.
obviously. And even just recently, Dylan was going to be involved in something at Liberty, which didn't happen, but he really wanted prayer for it leading
Right.
up to that. And so not only did he reach out to like some of his cousins and his uncles, but he reached out to people at Immanuel who he knew would pray for him. And I was sharing with my coworkers, and I was saying, this is just another time where I'm just so like raising your children, giving them a church family, and letting them see the importance of even when they go elsewhere, joining a church family and having that be a part of their life. Like, it's just a gift you can give to your kids, and we're just so grateful that our kids have had it with such a great family there at Immanuel, and we like feel the same way. We
Absolutely.
just feel, you know, so blessed by our friendships there. And even though Vince is my pastor, like we just say all the time, we feel very spoiled to have Pastor Vince and Pastor Greg as our ministry leaders, and we are really blessed to have that.
I definitely want to say I miss my church family more than I ever thought that I ever would.
Well, can't wait to get back and see everybody, and stay late and talk in the hallway to people, and just get back to church and see Pastor Ben.
I would just like to say that, like a lot of other people said, I miss seeing everybody.
I would say I miss everybody so much. I do. I miss seeing faces. I miss getting hugs from my brothers and sisters in Christ. I miss, singing on praise team. We had a wonderful time this morning watching the service. I do love having church on my couch with my families and my pets and coffee in hand. That is nice. I'm so grateful for that. But I really do miss my church family.
So now we have, would you like to add anything, Gracie? Anything you'd like to tell the people?
Yeah, so what do you want to say?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Very much, and I can't wait to give you a big hug. So we can do that right now. Thanks, bud. Okay. Well, thanks for joining us, and we'll talk to you guys later.
Come on. You know what I'm saying?
Oh no!